Once upon a time, a young man named Jack Spaulding, who had no formal music training but loved to play the piano, especially the black keys, met a young lady named Gwendolyn Bruden, who later became an English teacher. A spark was lit and soon a proposal followed. It was wartime and people wasted little time, thus they were married on March 31st, 1944. Music and English, what a combination. Soon, this young family grew by the arrival of Harvey Daniel Spaulding in 1945 and Elizabeth Ann Spaulding in 1947. Last, but not least, Keith Bruden Spaulding arrived on Thanksgiving Day, November 23, 1951. He was a little early, but he didn't want to miss the holiday celebration. Cap has always enjoyed a good party. As the years rolled by, many summers were spent at the Spaulding cabin on Loon Lake under the guidance of Aunt Sis, who later in life became enthralled with pyramids. Stone Elementary was Keith's introduction to school. Here we see him as a third grader. This is when he debuted as a soloist. He began singing in the children's choir at age 4 at the First Congregational Church under the direction of Mrs. Byron. In third grade, he launched his singing career on Christmas with While the Shepherds Watched Their Flocks. There's a reel-to-reel tape of this, but no one is sure where it is. Entering 7th grade at North Junior High, he found himself an arts round class of vocal music. He sat in the soprano section next to a young lady named Marcia Robertson, whom you will hear from later. According to his teacher, Mrs. Leese, he could sing higher than Marcia, but they both loved singing Fair Cuba. Band was also part of his curriculum, and he followed in his brother's footsteps, playing the French horn. Under the tutelage of Mr. Earl Somerville, he became very proficient and was awarded an Interlochen Scholarship. Arthur Hill High School was where Keith really blossomed, singing in the honors choir under the direction of Mrs. Leese, and playing French horn in the honors band under the direction of Mr. Richard Jensen. And then there were the musicals, Camelot and Brigadoon, where he found he actually had acting ability, which I think he does. Please remember, these were done 40 years ago. The sound is from reel-to-reel tape, and the cameras were first generation.
Candles at the court, they never burn as bright. I wonder what the king is up to tonight. How goes the final hour as he sees the bridal bower being regally and legally prepared? Well, I'll tell you what the king is doing tonight. He's scared. He's scared. Opposition. If I could choose from every woman who breathes on this earth, the face I would most love, the smile, the touch, the voice, the heart, the laugh, the soul itself, every detail and feature to the smallest strand of hair, we would all be Jennies. Proposition. If I could choose from every man who breathes on this earth, a man for my brother, and a man for my son, a man for my friend, they would all be lambs. Yes, I love them. I love them and they answer me again with pain and torment. Be it sin or not sin, they betray me in their hearts, and that's fast enough. I see it in their eyes and feel it when they speak, and they must pay for it and be punished. I shall be wounded and not return it in kind. I'm done with feeble hoping. I demand a man's vengeance. a man and a civilized king. Could it possibly be civilized to destroy what I love? Could it possibly be civilized to love myself above all? What of their pain and their torment? Do they ask for this calamity? Can passion be selected? Is there any doubt of their devotion to me or to the table? My God, Excalibur, we shall be a king. This is the time of King Arthur, and we reach for the stars. This is the time of King Arthur, and violence is not strength, and compassion is not weakness. We are civilized. Resolved. We shall live through this together, Excalibur. They, you, and I. And God have mercy on us all.
I think this Keith Spaulding has some potential. Off to Western Michigan University, majoring in communications and minoring in music, a trip to Europe as a member of Western Michigan Choir and a member of Gold Company. Graduation took place in 1973 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. Back to Saginaw, where he spent 1 year as an English teacher at Carrollton High School before taking a position with Frankenmuth High School as an English, speech, and radio and television teacher. His first year, he was also one of the directors for the first musical, The Sound of Music. In 1975, Venner, meaning friends, which of course I'm sure you all know by now, was formed and the tradition began. The summer of 1974, The Fantastics was presented at the Fisher Opera, under the direction of Keith Spaulding, of course. He also played the part of El Gallo. A lasting friendship with Miss Judy Aesop was formed, and she was later to assist Keith with Venner, as well as arranging the cast song Side by Side. In the spring, a young man's fancies turned to love. On Memorial Day weekend in 1983, Cap proposed to a beautiful young woman named Susan Wendling. Their wedding took place on June 23, 1984. Two beautiful children followed, Kelsey Lauren Spaulding on June 1, 1986, and Emily Ann Spaulding on November 23, 1990, Thanksgiving and her father's birthday. Mr. Spaulding has received numerous awards and has memorable moments that are special to him. In 1997, he received the Saginaw News prestigious Crystal Apple Award. This is given to teachers for their outstanding work in education. He was nominated by Rosaline Markham. One of his most memorable moments was the dedication of the Bronner Fine Arts Building in 2001. Wally and Irene Bronner were huge supporters of Venner. You would see them at the Christmas concert and dinner theater performances every single year. The grand piano was a gift to the school, as well as the seed money for the Fine Arts Building. Without their generosity and support, I'm not sure that the choral music program would have ever survived. Many thank yous go to the Bronner family. In the year 2005, Venner performed at the Saginaw All-Area Arts Award. This is a special group of people called Saginaw Arts and Enrichment Commission. Yearly, they recognize people and groups who have committed themselves to the enrichment of the arts in the Saginaw area. Venner was awarded this honor, and Mr. Spaulding accepted this on Venner's behalf. This is probably the most important in Cap's memory, as it is recognized by his students for all of their hard work and commitment to music. In 2007, Mr. Spaulding received the Arthur Hill Honor Alumnus Award. His picture is in the Arthur Hill's community room, along with his uncle Harvey Spaulding and several of his former teachers. The most important thing in Cap's life is his family. Susan, who has been by his side and spent untold numbers of hours helping Venner and Circle. His two beautiful children, Kelsey and Emily, both who have performed with Venner and Circle. And who could ask for more of this family when it comes to love and support? Keith Spaulding came to Frankenmuth in 1974. He was hired to teach speech, English, radio, and TV classes, but even then, he was involved in directing The Sound of Music. Looking at just the music he gave to his students over the years is awesome. 5 musicals: The Sound of Music, South Pacific, Oliver, My Fair Lady, and Happy Time. Then followed 29 years of Christmas concerts and dinner theaters, 3 trips to Europe in '83, '98, and 2004, 2 trips to Disney World, and a multitude of community performances which are far too numerous to mention. Cap, the friends of Venner, the parents of students, and most of all your students, thank you for all that you have done for us. You nurtured our love for music, taught us sensitivity, self-discipline, and a host of other values which we can now carry with us to make it through the rest of our lives, to make them more fruitful and happy. We salute you.